Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. Today we are embarking on part 5 of our Minmus missions. Now part 5 here is going to include our last journey down to the surface. We will hit the last normal biome that we can. We're hoping for midlands. That said, midlands are, I'm not going to say hard to find, but hard to identify, at least for me. Now, a few areas that I'm looking at that I believe to be midlands, assuming this is lesser flats, and it is, I believe this area right in here to be made up of midlands. And the only way really that we're going to have any chance of landing on that is to wait until, well, hell freezes over really. It's not impossible to hit this area, it just would be difficult for us given our current angles. That said, there are a few other places. They're just obscured by darkness right now, so let's go ahead and wind the clock. The area I'm interested in is either on the other side of the lesser flats, or perhaps in the midst of the greater and lesser flats, in between that area. Lesser flats right here. This area is a little high for the orbit that we're in, but I believe this right here constitutes midlands. So, that said, I think if we give it one more go around the planet, around the moon, around Minmus, however you want to say it, we should be in good shape. In all likelihood, this will be our last landing on Minmus. Should be pretty much just standard procedure here for Bill. Oops. Get him facing prograde. Whoa, whoa, nope, nope, nope. There we go. Spin the craft real quick. Controls that make sense, yada yada yada. Let's go ahead. Undock. I thought I was controlling from the right. Never mind. I wasn't. So SAS on, resources clear, RCS thrusters on. Scooch out of the way. While we're scooching, go ahead, set up a maneuver, go retrograde. Again, I believe this area to be made up of midlands, so that's going to be what we go for. We're not quite clear yet, but as soon as we are, we will begin our burn. Looking good. See you guys soon. We'll get ready to fall in here. Nope, 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 that's the wrong way. That was much more horrific than I wanted. I use horrific a lot in this game. That's prograde, we want retrograde. And we want to start. Let's just make sure that we are above where we think we are. Above the Midlands, excellent. Start bleeding off that speed. Our craft is set up this way, so we're going to set it up the same way so that we don't run into issues. Because I accidentally skipped ahead in time here, I don't think I'll be doing my EVA on the descent, so I just have to remember to do it on the ascent. Coming in very sideways, just in case we have a repeat of the Highlands. Track these panels. Coming up on 100 units. We're still technically in orbit. Just above the Midlands, so this is looking good so far. We're in a same bit of a situation where we were. I want to just kill my rotational speed. Just tearing through that monopropellant. There's my shadow. It's looking pretty good. Boom. An excellent touchdown there. Log gravity data. Log seismic data. Log thermometer. We're going to grab both goo samples. We're going to grab a crew report. Going to go ahead. We're going to do our EVA. Going to take our EVA report. We said going home. Alright, Bob. I'm sorry. Alright, Bill. You can do your victory jump. Although you are Going to get awfully close to orbit in doing so. I felt bad you didn't get to do it on the Highlands. Would have been fun, I'm sure. Boom. He's ecstatic. He runs joyously. To his spacecraft. He gets on board. We look good. And that's it. That's the end. Let's get out of here, guys. 270, of course, we are set up backwards from how we have been. So we're going to go to our left instead of our right. Resources available. Let's go ahead and extend our panels. And let's go home. First leg of the journey starts right now. Go ahead, spin us around, just for consistency's sake. Monopropellant, after we return to the ship, is going to become much less important. Liquid fuel will be the most important thing. So with that in mind, we'll probably be a little more carefree with monopropellant fuel, considering we only had about 100 units left on the ship, although technically enough that if we really absolutely had to, we could land one more time. We wouldn't be able to land on the poles, and that would be risking a little bit too much. So not something we're going to go for. 7 landings. Originally we had set out to do 4, so this will be absolutely a absolutely triumphant return for us in terms of science garnered. And of course, the mission won't be over until we get all 4 Kerbals back home. Our hardworking scientist, the unsung hero here, teaching Jeb how to clean out the goo containers. It's a special procedure that requires a toothbrush. Let's see, we're at 15, so yeah, we already should have started folding over. We're going to go ahead, and before things... Oh, nope. Before things get out of hand, we're going to change our angle. Using this set of principles that we have learned here, we could easily do the same on any of the countless small moons. Alright, they're not countless, you could count all of them, located throughout our solar system. That said, we just want to be aware that right now none of them have biomes. We have visited the 3 bodies that have biomes. We have visited a vast majority of those biomes. Well, we just crossed our... Normally we're done using fuel by this time, but we still have 40 more units of monopropellant fuel if we so desire it. Add our maneuver. About 53 units to get into space. That's a distance of 11 kilometers. It's a distance of 9 kilometers. Oddly enough, that's going to put us further away. (20 kilometers). 1.4. That will be the burn in 5 minutes. There's our parent craft. We were on the surface for a short amount of time. I believe once we passed the 5-day mark for this mission, we will have been through an entire month of our space program, and we will have landed on other worlds 15 times, I believe, somewhere in there. Accidentally just hit the spacebar button. That would have been amazingly awful if it had been attached to anything. Also one of the reasons that I do try to lock stages. .7, really? Seven meters per second in 60 seconds, heading towards the planet. Orbital body, heading towards the orbital body. Seconds. Boop. 0.3 kilometers. Perfect. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Magnifico. 17 minutes in to our video here, and we're about ready for rendezvous. Just over a minute now. Actually, if I would have let that ride out, I could have gotten a few more meters for free, but oh well. Let's go ahead and head towards our target here. Okay, docking mode. Meet up once more after 56 minutes alone. We have capture. Let those lights go dark. We'll pull up our landing gear. There we are. Let's put these panels in for now.